Well, I can't really say I'm enjoying this at all. It's tomorrow, day after yesterday, etc. Carrying on with this, I've poked around, I don't know how much you can see in here, I've poked around on this plywood, and as I mentioned yesterday, all this body filler in here, well, it's pretty messy all through there, a little bit through there, hole missing at the corner. And outside, I have to confess there's some nasty rot up in here, which I'll find the inside of when I pull this vinyl off in a few minutes. I'm having desperate thoughts that this entire bulkhead is going to get replaced. Now that's terrifying. I mean, this is my home. Knocking the entire aft wall out of the boat here at the marina. I already know I have to remove and deal with the messed up fiberglass cockpit sole, and the 3 tanks that are under there are really no fun either. They're probably fine tanks, but the plumbing and the mounting for them is beyond disgusting. Anyway, I'm going to take out the starboard side settee here and associated 1990s modernization and see how I feel about it. I'm not feeling good. Alright, let's start bashing. Okay, well, here we go. Lovely mess of heating gear. I guess I'm grateful that the boat came with a hot water fed series of heaters, bus heaters some people call them. There's about 5 throughout the boat, and they're in great shape. All the plumbing and the ducting is absolute rubbish. This is the heater that would feed the bathroom through underneath the closet there. But I mean, just the sweating of copper is just, anyway, it's all gotta go. It's all gotta go. These are the controls for the Webasto heater, which actually is the diesel heater right behind here that creates all the hot water, which is a lovely item, except it doesn't work. So, gotta replace that. Here's the plumbing to feed the bathroom sink, combination of marine plastic reinforced hose clamps, bit of copper, bit of PEX, bit of thin little whatever. Oh, what a mess. This is the current line between my toilet and the holding tank, so I mustn't damage that. Okay, all this has got to come out. Yuck. Okay, so here we are, all cleaned out. Pretty much what I expected. I had never seen these ribs before because when I surveyed the boat, when I first looked at it, and when my surveyor looked at it, it was impossible to get to because you saw the wood was over it before. And of course they look a little horrific because of the turn they make. This boat has a bit of a hard chine. It starts up forward, and basically there's a fold, a chine basically, that forms. For those of you who know wooden boats, you'll be able to describe it better than I do, but it's almost round hulled at the near the bow, and then by the time you get to the stern, there's a rather distinctive hard chine back there. I believe that's what Edwin Monk, his solution, his version of the semi-displacement cruiser. I believe it actually rolls a lot less than full displacement round hulled bottom boats, but they are a little bit complex to build. So what you end up with is the frames, the ribs, actually do a very sharp bend in outside this clamp. But then there's like another outside clamp. I think some people may call it the inner chine. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, it's a block. And then as the planks take a sharper fold, there are wedges in here. You can see this one a little bit better. In fact, the first time I ran my hand down here on the other side, I thought that was a split, but it's not. So anyway, to be able to still use a single frame and make a turn, but get a hard chine, they just add more material outside the corner at the hard chine. And I think it's quite a successful design. It does mean, though, that the frames still do a fairly sharp turn right behind this clamp. Now, running my finger along the sides of all these frames, I can't find any that are actually broken, shattered in other words, but you can tell by looking at them that the turn seems to be sharper than wood would like to do naturally. What am I going to do about that? A couple of things probably, which I'll elaborate on later. Obviously, in time, something has to happen. I don't know how much the boat is moved. You can take some clues maybe from this bulkhead. You know, this bulkhead here is only about 1/8 of an inch away there, and here it's about 3/8 to 7/16 away. There's a plate here over where the bulkhead was cut around the stringer, so I suspect probably there's a largish gap in there. So I think that the stringer has dropped as the boat folded a little more at the hard chine. Now, again, I'm not too worried about that. Wooden boats tend to do this and still last a long time. I'd like to limit it. I don't know if I'll try to pull it back. I have some ideas. That's something I'm going to have to discuss with the wooden boat world. But in the meantime, I'm actually quite pleased with what I found under here, and I'm awfully pleased to get rid of all that junk. Most of this moisture is actually just from water that poured out of the heating system. This part of the boat doesn't seem to leak much at all. It's damp, but certainly no trickling. I do have a lot of moisture up in here. This is soaking wet, as is up here. So something's leaking up here. It's pouring rain today, so that's probably why. I'll have to figure that out. I thought I dealt with all the leaks up here, but this one was kind of hidden. This is soft and mushy. It's soft and mushy up in here. So in terms of the full bulkhead replacement, you know, when you pull off stuff like this, oh God. Well, it's not that bad. This is actually a veneer of crappy something or other. So that's definitely mushy there. It's already been spliced several times. I can stick my finger right through there. I mean, I knew this would be bad. Anyway, a little more digging before I decide. But I have this scary, scary suspicion that I'm replacing this bulkhead. Yeah, cheers. Well, then here we go. If I'm going to replace the bulkhead, which it looks like I'm going to do, and I'm going to replace the cockpit sole, which I know I'm going to do, it's time to just bite the bullet and do it. And to do that, I'm going to enclose the entire cockpit from the line of this handrail back with a tarp, because it's now the rainy season in Victoria, and I can expect rain almost all the time. So I'm going to get on with that today, and if things go well, I'll start taking some of this apart. Only slightly terrifying. Unfortunately, to get this plywood off, I have to remove this nice piece of trim, pull the plugs. It's going to be a disaster. No, it's going to be great. I'm just not happy about it. So to begin, I have to take the handrails off up here, and these fender mounts and stuff, so that I can bring the tarp back down and tape it to the cabin top, so that all the rain that pours off the cabin top doesn't pour off into here. Anyway, I'll show you how I do it as we get on with it. This is a commitment, but this has got to go. Let's get on with it. Okay, step one, nasty fender holders off. Actually, I'm glad I took them off. I've never liked them. They seem way too modern really for this boat, and why would you keep your fenders outside where they can be getting destroyed in the UV all the time? Pack them away somewhere in the shade. Okay, next, handrails, which means taking out some plugs. Okay, for the handrails. A little sticky in this corner. I'm not quite sure why. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. Come on, let go. No, that's stickier than I'd like it to be. They didn't glue it, did they? Please, they didn't glue it. Anyway, let's look. To me, heat is the magic solution for many things that are stuck. Most glues will soften with heat. It may not have been glued, it may only have been just years and years of varnish and oil getting in there, but I'd rather get it off without breaking it. Okay. Yeah, they glued it. Worse than gluing, probably Sikaflex, one of the really hard ones. So what I do is I heat the putty knife and then drive it in, and it melts the Sikaflex. Sikaflex. Okay, let's try that. Good and hot. Oh, I can slide that way in there. Way in. A little bit further on this side. That's almost far enough. But just to guarantee I don't split anything, I'm going to make one more pass. Because even at the end there, you can see where it's fish mouthed onto the other rail. That's probably got 5200 in it as well. Ugh. Don't break it. Don't break it. Okay, so I've cut the bottom all the way in. Now I've got heat on the top section, and you can see it moving. I think, there we go, off it comes. And yeah, you can see it was completely caked with brown 5200, which is all over this whole boat. Lovely stuff. Anyway, got it off without breaking it. Heat. See that plug come out? Beauty. Try the next one. Gotta wait for the screw to cool down. Now that's the way I like to take plugs out. That's still hot. Woo! Alright, let's get this off. See if the second one comes off just as easy. Just let that live where it lies. There we go. Beautiful. Whew. Nice. Clean that up a little bit, and we'll get those screws out. Cheers. So nice camber to it, keep the rain off. The one over your head also has a camber, easily introduced with simply a block in the middle. So now just some connecting pieces and put the tarp on. Long enough? Yes! Oh, life is good. Okay. Might just call this a aft cabin. Now, this wouldn't survive snow loads. You've watched enough. I'll check back with you when it's done. See ya. And there we go. Well, I won't call that done. We'll adjust them here and there, but it's an enclosed space. It's bright. It'll keep the bulk of the rain off me, and the other thing, of course, is that I'm working in a marina. All the boats around me are liveaboards, and I get away with a lot here. But ripping this all apart in the entirely exposed view would be perhaps pushing the envelope just a little bit. Anyway, this is perfect. I'm really liking it. Excellent. Now I can start ripping and tearing.